Hello everyone, it's Tracy. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks very much for joining me. Today I'm doing the assembly tutorial for the overalls card. This project has been designed by Nicole Silhouette for Scrappy Boy, and I shall link both of those in the description box below. The overalls are available as a cutting die set from Scrappy Boy, and I shall link that also in the description box below. Sean over at Scrappy Boy very kindly sent me the die set, so I have the die set here and I shall go through that and the pieces with you now. So here is the die set. This is the back of the packaging, and you can see this is the card and what we're aiming for in the tutorial. All very nicely packaged, and the dies are on the front side. So I'm going to go through the die pieces. We have this piece here. This is the main piece that will make your card base. You'll cut this from a folded piece of cardstock. You'll do partial die cutting so that this top piece of the die does not cut the top. You'll have that hanging over the edge so that top edge does not cut, which will then create your card base. Then there's this piece here. This is a layering piece, and it layers nicely onto the card base. And they go nicely back onto the backing card. Then there's this piece here. This is the start of your overalls. This is another piece that goes over the top to create the pockets, so you can create a little bit of dimension. Then there are two types of pocket you can use for the top part of the overalls. There's this more square shape, and then there's this other shape which has the sides curved in a little bit. Then there are two pocket toppers that shows you that pocket flap at the top. So there are two of those dies. Then we have this layering piece to go across the waistband of the overalls, and then the shoulder straps. And there's a left-sided one and a right-sided one, and it's easy to see which one goes where. And then we have the buckles that attach to the shoulder straps that attach to the bib of the overalls, like so. And then there's this little die here that you can use for your buttons if you'd like. So that's the die set, and on the back of the packaging you can see how you can get in touch with Sean. His Facebook page, you can scan that QR, it's all there for you. So I've got my pieces here already cut out, and you can see I'm using a denim look cardstock. I've had this cardstock in my stash for a very long time. I can't remember which company it was from, but that particular sheet was called October Afternoon from memory. I doubt very much it would still be available. I've had this in my stash for many, many years. And I inked around the edges with a blue dye ink pad. So you can see I've got my pieces all here ready to go, and I've got silver mirror board as one of my contrast colours. So I've got the card base here, and I've cut this from a folded piece of cardstock, and I put the main die piece down and had it so that that top part of the die was just up over the top there so that it did not cut. So partial die cutting. And then that gives me my card base. I cut an extra piece of the layering piece so that I had something inside to write on, and I wasn't writing on dark cardstock. And the other layering piece is for the front of the card. I have these little resin daisy flowers here that I'm going to use on my overalls, and they came in a pack like so. And I got those from AliExpress. So if you type in resin flowers in your search, they'll probably come up. So we'll start putting all this together, and I've got my first layering piece here that I've cut from silver mirror board, and that's using the second largest die in the die set. So I'm just going to stick this layering piece onto my card base, making sure it's lining up nicely. before pressing it down. Now I'm using glue to stick this piece down, but you could use your foam tape for dimension if you like. It's entirely up to you. Next up, I'm going to put this piece into position. And for this piece, I'm going to use double-sided tape. It is always easier affixing cardstock to silver mirror board with double-sided tape. Glue does take a little bit longer to set up when you're applying it to a mirror board cardstock. So it's a handy little tip to use double-sided tape. Again, you could pop this up on foam tape or dimensionals if you like. It's entirely up to you. Just pressing that down. And I did ink these areas here just to give those pockets that darker look on the inside. I'm popping this piece up onto some foam tape to give it some dimension. Just making sure that it's nicely lined up before pressing it into place. And you can see that's coming along nicely with some nice dimension. I'm going to do the same thing with the waistband of the overalls. I'm going to pop that up with some foam dimension tape. And I like using a black foam tape when I'm using a dark colour cardstock, because I don't like seeing the white of the foam tape from the side view. So this is a good option to use if you're trying to build dimension with a darker base colour cardstock, like I'm doing today. And we'll stick this waistband into position onto the overalls. And I'm happy with how that's looking. Then I'm going to put the pocket of choice onto the bib of my overalls. I chose the pocket with the caved in sides, or the curved sides. I liked the look of that. And then I'm going to put the little pocket topper in position, and I'm going to pop that up onto some foam tape. All of my foam dimensionals and foam tape that I use in today's tutorial I get from a company in Australia called Crafts For You by Catchy Crafts, and I shall link that in the description box below also. So I'm just going to stick that to the top of the pocket, and I'm happy with how that's looking. Nice and dimensional. I'm going to do the same thing with these shoulder straps. I'm going to put the double-sided foam tape on the back of those. Be careful when you're putting this in place that you don't put it down the whole length, because you will need to put your buckle in underneath, as you'll see me struggle when I go to put the buckles in place. So that's just a handy little tip. And it's very easy to see which way these go when you put them into position. You just follow the top line of the card. I'm just getting both of those into position before pressing them down. Next up, we're going to put the little buckles in place, and this is where I had a little bit of trouble. I had to peel back what I'd already stuck down, because that little buckle just goes in underneath. So I'm just peeling mine back up and just going to slide that in underneath and press it down. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're affixing yours, not to put glue all the way down to the bottom. The buckle is designed to go in and underneath the end of that shoulder strap. So underneath like so, and then over the top of the bib part of the overalls. So now I'm going to put some glue in the center part of the buckle down the bottom, and I'm going to stick my resin flower button in place, and I'm just holding that down until the glue takes a hold. I really liked using these little flowers on the overalls. I think it matched in well with the denim. You could really make these overalls in any style that you like. These would look great done for a baby card, baby overalls, so pink or blue, or even gender neutral baby card. Would look great for a teenager, done like the way I'm doing it now with the denim for a teenage girl. Or you could even do it for a boy too. You could dress this up with some tools and would look like working overalls. That's an idea as well. So it could be for masculine, feminine, any style really. You're only limited by your imagination. So I'm just getting these last little resin flowers stuck in place, and they're my buttons on my overalls. And I'm loving how this is looking. As I said, you could decorate this in any style that you like. So now that I've got those in place, just giving you a look at the card where we're at the moment. And I'm loving the dimension. It is hard to pick it up in the video, and it stands up nicely. And I like the shine that the silver mirror board gives it as well. So I'm going to glue the other layering piece on the inside of the card so I have somewhere to write. And I'm just using white cardstock for that. It also gives the card some extra strength, having that extra piece on the inside. Just making sure that's stuck down really well. Now I'm going to put a sentiment on this card, and I've just chosen Birthday Girl, and you can see I'm just trying to figure out where I'd like to put it. So I'll pop this sentiment up on foam tape, and I'm going to put it on the bib part of the overall, like so. I'm happy with that position. Press it down into place. So just giving you a look at the completed card, and I'm happy with the way this has turned out. It's got nice dimension, which is hard to pick up on the video. The actual size of the card, it measures just under 4 inches across, so about 3 3/4, and it's 5.5 inches long. So that's my tutorial finished for today. I hope you've enjoyed watching and that you feel inspired to make one of these overalls cards. They're not that terribly difficult to make, and you could make them in any style that you like. Don't forget to check the description box down below for the links that I've previously mentioned, and if you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I would really love that too. Thanks very much for watching today. Have a great day, and until next time, it's bye for now.